And here to present the 2015 Walter Camp Football Foundation Alumni Award, here is John Chandler, Vice President, Chief Marketing Officer at Mass Mutual Financial Group.
Jackie Robinson, Bill Russell, Jim Brown, Kurt Flood, Doug Williams. A line of ascent that arguably erased the color barriers in sports today. While playing at Grambling State University, Doug led the Tigers to 3 Southwestern Athletic Conference championships. Although he led the NCAA in total yards from scrimmage, passing yards, touchdown passes, and yards per play, only Joe Gibbs, the offensive coordinator of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, came to watch Doug work out. Tampa Bay selected Doug in the first round of the 1978 NFL Draft, and from 1979 to 1982, Doug led the Bucs to 3 playoff appearances and 1 NFC title game. Underappreciated and grossly underpaid, Doug left the NFL for the USFL after the 1982 season. When the USFL folded in 1986, Joe Gibbs, now the head coach of the Washington Redskins, came calling on Doug again. And the rest, as they say, is history. Let's take a look.
On January 31st, 1988 in San Diego, Super Bowl 22 celebrated with hundreds of showgirls and more balloons than anyone had ever seen. Almost lost in the pageantry were the players. Number 7, John Elway, was the Denver Broncos quarterback, and Jay Schrader, number 10, had started all season for the Washington Redskins. But in the playoffs, Washington coach Joe Gibbs switched to a nearly forgotten veteran from Zachary, Louisiana, named Doug Williams.
Doug Williams' performance in Super Bowl 22 is what dreams are made of.
Play action fake. Williams going up top. Got Sanders on the fly. Midfield. He's gone. The 30, the 20, the 15, the 10. Touchdown, Washington Redskins.
It was a performance that you could make a movie about. Nobody believe it.
Williams, the pass, lobs it up. He's got Clark at the goal line. He's got it.
This was just a backup guy. And then he comes in and he does that? That was remarkable.
Even more remarkable is how much our #1 Super Bowl performer had to overcome to put the Redskins in position to win.
That game was a soap opera.
It looked for a moment that once again things were going to go very badly for the Redskins.
Can you believe that? In one play, the Broncos are up. Well, the Redskins are stunned.
Trailing 10-0, Washington got its biggest scare from its own quarterback.
Did you see him twist his leg when he went down? Doug Williams has got to have a sore leg.
When Doug goes down, you're thinking, oh, it's over. He's not coming back.
And we all thought, uh-oh, it's going to be Schrader.
So here comes Schrader.
There was no way that day that Jay Schrader was going to play.
Washington's offense is back on the football field, and so is number 17, Doug Williams.
He came back into the game, and boom.
Well, Doug Williams and company light it up, and they're back in this game. It's hard to realize that Denver was on top 10-0. What a turnaround. We are seeing a virtuoso performance.
I was just absolutely amazed at the precision with which he ran that offense.
He's got Sanders in the clear at the 10. Touchdown.
Second quarter was delightful.
A monster quarter for Washington.
His second quarter was absolutely perfection at the quarterback position.
That's a new Super Bowl record. 4 touchdowns in one quarter. I'm flabbergasted at what Washington's doing to Denver this quarter.
It became a slaughter.
322 yards in a quarter.
That's one of those no-moss games.
This was a fight, they might stop it.
Second half was like covering a funeral.
If you're a Denver fan, that ain't a pretty sight.
Our #1 performer finished with 340 yards passing to go along with his Super Bowl record 4 touchdown passes in one quarter.
One of the greatest feats, not only in the history of Super Bowls, but in the history of sports.
Doug Williams, he is having a dream day for a quarterback.
Doug Williams, Super Bowl 23, clearly the greatest performance in the history of Super Bowl. Not even close.
He was a black quarterback breaking down the racial barrier and winning the Super Bowl.
The first black quarterback to start a Super Bowl, the first black quarterback to win a Super Bowl.
Playing for all the people that had gone before him. The Marlon Briscoes, the James Harris, the Joe Gilliams. He had to fulfill all those expectations, and he came up with one of the great Super Bowl performances.
I think you take the numbers, I think you take the circumstance, you take the fact the team was down at the time. I think it has no peer.
And the statement he made by the way he played, I think it's one that's unique, and it's one that I think should be cherished.
Doug Williams became the first African-American quarterback to win the Super Bowl and was named Super Bowl MVP for his record-setting performance. After his NFL playing career, Doug Williams took on various coaching positions, and in 1998, he became the head football coach at Grambling State, succeeding his former coach, the legendary Hall of Famer, Eddie Robinson. Doug currently holds an executive office position in the front office of the Washington Redskins. In 2005, Doug co-founded the Shaq Harris and Doug Williams Foundation, dedicated to creating opportunities for economically disadvantaged youth. The foundation provides grants for after-school initiatives, leadership development, mentoring programs, and minority higher education assistance. Doug Williams' Super Bowl victory 28 years ago continued a wave of impact and social significance that still ripples through professional sports today, where the news headlines now are rightfully focused on a player's talent and not the color of his or her skin. Doug has said, "How did I get all this? I'm just a football player." Douglas Lee Williams, you are so much more and have proven to be so much more than just a football player. Ladies and gentlemen, join me in congratulating our 2015 Alumni Award winner, Walter Camp Football Foundation All-American quarterback from 1977, Doug Williams.
Wow. Wow, what a night. You know, all I thought about was coming up here, stand up and say thank you and sitting down. Never thought about an introduction like that. First of all, I want to say some 38 years ago, I had the opportunity to come to New Haven, Connecticut, part of the Walter Camp All-American team. And I want to say that's the greatest thing, one of the greatest things that ever happened to me, to be a part of this fraternity, organization, foundation, whatever you want to call it. It's the best thing that can happen to any young player at that particular time. And as I look at these young guys behind me, I want them to look at tonight and understand how important it is to come back and be a part, just like the Alumni, the 25th anniversary. Where else could you go? Walking in the building yesterday morning, you know, Hugh Green sitting there. Tony Dawsey walks in. Art Steele walks in. David is over there. Ken Huff is there. Joe Andrews is there. It's so many other players. This is the only fraternity that if you don't see a guy for 10 years and you walk in that building, it's just like seeing him yesterday. And that's what the Walter Camp has done for me from an alumni standpoint. And the other thing, as I looked at yesterday with so many young kids at the clinic and in here today, I want these young guys to understand how important it is. It don't take but a little time to sign these kids' ball. Don't walk by them, because one day somebody might walk by you. And as I... And see, as I stand up here, you know, and I'm looking at Coach Sweeney, who has coached one of the greatest seasons of all time in football. I know what coaching is all about, and I understand what he's going through. When you got that many kids that you're responsible for, it ain't just coaching. It's bigger than coaching. I had one of the greatest coaches, Coach Robinson. I can honestly say if it wasn't for him, I don't know whether or not I'd be standing here tonight. And I want to take my hat off to him, bless his soul, for taking me up under his wing and giving me the opportunity that these guys have gotten from their coaching. And when you think about 125 years of an organization, there's a lot of guys out there that could be Alumni of the Year. And for them to pick me, I am a very humble individual. I come from humble beginnings. Zachary, Louisiana, if you've never been there, when I grew up, we had one sign that said, "Welcome to Zachary," and on the same sign in the back of it, it said, "Come again." That's how small it was. So I understand what being humble is all about. It's a place that I don't want to go back to being. And football has given me that opportunity. And it all started my senior year being part of Walter Camp, and I see the history. And I feel like Dabo Sweeney. I told somebody today, they can't tell me I wasn't in Yale. You know, and I had a son that graduated from Brown, but I wanted to let him know I've been to Yale too. So he wasn't the only one got some Ivy League in him. I got some Ivy League in me too. And as I take my seat, I just want to thank everybody who had a vote, the committee of Walter Camp Foundation for electing me as being the Alumni of the Year. And I want to say thank you. Thanks to the guys that's been here before and the guys that's back here for the first time that'll be back later. Derek, I want to see you back, man. And that's big time. That's big time when guys like this come back because of the young people that you deal with every day. I understand you might not want to sign the old guy's ball every now and then. That's fine. Get out the way. But that little kid that's down here, sign it. He's not going to sell it. Put his name on it. He's going to put it on his dresser. That's what it's all about. You know, my dad told me a long time ago, I'll never forget when I was a rookie in Tampa, you know, and I thought I was this and that and all of that. And I went home to Zachary, Louisiana, I'm laying up, I'm talking to my daddy. I said, man, I went out last night and all these people was pulling on me, wanted to take a picture, wanted to sign this. And he told me one thing and it stayed with me for the rest of my life. And I believe in it. He said, boy, if you don't want to be bothered, stay home. So my thing is, when you think you don't want to be bothered with anybody, stay home, because as long as you play this game and you play it well, you're going to get bothered. But it's a good thing, because there's going to come a day they might not want to say anything to you, and that's the part that you don't want. As long as they're talking about you, you got a chance. I want to say thank you for bringing me back, and I'm glad to be a part of the Walter Camp Foundation. Thank you.